because the best things are made from the simplest ingredients. Simplicity can be hindered by excess. Really, the essentials are all you need. Smart business owners know this more than anyone. They only want to pay for what their business needs. At 123 Reg, we provide simple online products that let small business owners pay for the essentials. No needless extras. Easy as 123. Visit 123 Reg to find out more.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 4, round. Why I have just looked at this and I have completely forgotten which round numbers these are. Immediately, that's a wonderful start for this evening. Round 6, round 7 and 8. Sorry, it's 2 rounds per week. And I apologise if this is coming through a little bit choppy. OBS looks like it's having a bit of a funny 5 minutes. And I hope you can hear game sound, and I also have Matt alongside us. So again, please just let us know if there's any levels that are a bit wonky. On this, it's still just fine-tuning things, so hopefully bear with us for this one and the one that we've got on the weekend that I'm doing, as there will be much streaming, and then I've got a chance to sit back and try and work out some channels, audio channels for this. So, yes, it's Porsche Sprint. So, we've got 2 15-minute races tonight. We do have red flag scenario for at least one of the races. Likelihood with only a handful of drivers this weekend for these 2 races. It does not look like it is likely to be an issue on that one, unless there are some GT4s that decide to get very, very brave. So we've just got a few minutes of practice here, just so everybody who is going to come racing tonight has a chance to join. So we'll also get a bit of a chance to see what lap times people are putting down, just getting warmed up. And go from there. And yes, we have, hopefully all being well, hopefully Mac is here to join as well. At least one of the races, likelihood with only a handful of drivers this weekend for these 2 races. It does not look like it is likely to be an issue on that one, unless there are some GT4s that decide to get very, very brave. So we've just got a few minutes of mixed feelings about it. It very much feels like it's a motorbike track. Has a chance to join, so we'll also get a bit of a chance to see what lap times people are putting down, just getting warmed up. And go from there. And yes, we have, hopefully all being well, hopefully Mac is here to join as well. At least one of the races, likelihood only a handful of drivers. No, that's fair. It kind of comes, I put it in the same category as Misano. It feels very much like what it is, which is, it does feel a lot like a bike track. There's some of the distances between the corners just feel a little bit off for a big GT car, because oddly enough they can kind of change direction a little bit quicker than a bike does, particularly when you're going from full left lean to full right lean. Some of the corners do feel a little bit stretched out, but otherwise, no, it's a good track. It's a really nice technical challenge, especially that last corner. You're braking downhill whilst turning into a hairpin. A hairpin that is way faster than it looks. Some of the distances between the corners just feel a little bit off for a big GT car, because oddly enough they can kind of change direction a little bit quicker than a bike does, particularly when you're going from full left lean to full right lean. Some of the corners do feel a little bit stretched out. Bikes are an interesting one, because they're not nearly as, to some degree, they're not nearly as scary as they look. There is, turning into a hairpin. I don't want to get too technical into this, but there is an element. We've done quite a bit of mountain biking and stuff like that in previous instances, and wheels, when they rotate, have a lot of gyroscopic effect. So even though they make these things unbelievably light, the speed in which they're spinning has a almost gyro stabilizing effect. So bikes are an interesting one, because they're not nearly as, to some degree, they're not nearly as scary. Oh, massively! The outer So back when we were playing with mountain bikes, roughly it's a 4-to-1 ratio from the center of the hub versus the center of the hub to the rim. So at speed, whatever weight you have added or taken away from the rim is multiplied by 4. Wheels, when they rotate, have a lot of gyroscopic. So if you say 4 grams, 1 gram on the weight of your rim, unbelievably light. At speed, okay, this is only mountain bike speeds, we're talking max of 30-35 mile an hour. You're saving 4 grams. Now, human power trying to get that going, that makes a huge difference. But when you exponent, you shift that out to a few thousand RPM that a bike wheel is doing at race speeds at 200 plus miles an hour, that mass is huge. Whatever weight you have added or taken away from the rim is multiplied by 4. Wheels, when they rotate, have a lot of gyroscopic. So if you say 4 grams, 1 gram on the weight of your rim, unbelievably light. At speed, okay, yes. Go and have a look at probably the most extreme example of this would be top fuel dragsters, because you can see those things grow as they leave. You see them pull away from the line, and the tires physically grow inches. It's a really big thing with aircraft tires as well. When you're coming into land or taking off, is those carcasses have to be incredibly strong to be able to just support the weight of the aircraft fully loaded. So the amount of mass that you have there, it's then centrifugal force was then trying to essentially pull that tyre apart. It's why Michelin had to build specific tyres when the Veyron first came out. And most of the technology used in those was shrunk down off of their airline tyres. When you're coming into land or taking off, is those carcasses have to be it becomes a thing with why tyre pressures are a thing as well. Because if your tyre pressures aren't correct, the tyre's not going to deform and move in the right way. Not just from being over pressure or under pressure and you see the flex, whether the tread bends inwards or outwards. The centre of the tread will try and pull outwards the faster you go, because the sides are being held together. And most of the technology used in those was shrunk down off of their airline tyres. I am so sorry. I promise when qualifying and racing starts, that will have all of my attention. A thing with why tyre pressures are a thing as well. Because if your tyre pressures aren't correct, the tyre's not going to deform and move in the right way. Not just from being over pressure or under pressure. Massively. Whether the tread bends inwards or outwards. The centre of the tread will try and pull outwards the faster you go, because the sides are being held together. And most of the technology used in those was shrunk down off of their airline tyres. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like we have tonight is all these cars. I think it's a split qualifying session, so it's one session, but they're split in half. So these cars, in about 7.5 minutes, none of them have tyre warmers. Unlike the GT3s, none of these have tyre warmers. So in 7.5 minutes, on a 1.5-minute long lap, you have to go out, get your tyres up to temperature and pressure, and then go and set a lap. It's a hell of an order. Oh, God, yeah. Like we have tonight is all these cars. I think it's a split qualifying session, so it's one session, but they're split in half. Pretty well. There is to some degree radiant heat, which goes from the brakes into the rim. Unlike the GT3, but largely it's depending on how the car works. It can be up to about 50% from the brakes, but most of the time it's from the sheer movement on the tyre, which is again why you see the rain tyres just melt and overheat so quickly. Because those blocks, unlike a slick, which is a nice flat surface, those blocks move, and they really move. So when they start moving around, your tyre, that generates even more heat, which goes from the brakes into the rim. But largely, it's depending on how the car works. It can be up to about 50% from the brakes, but most of the time it's from just the sheer movement on the tire. Which is again why you see the rain tires just melt and overheat so quickly, because those blocks, unlike a slick, which is a nice flat surface, those blocks move, and they really move. So when they start completely. I think it was Guy Martin had a go at the world tractor land speed record. The guy's nuts. I mean, anybody that has won the Isle of Man TT is yeah, you're unhinged to start with. So, but no, he actually went for it, and there's actually a whole section within that. If you go and look it up, with that goes through, and they have to make specialist tyres because there's such a big diameter. The amount of force and the amount of vertical tyre size change is a really big thing. Similarly, the more sidewall you have, the more the tyre moves. Which is one of the things that they've noticed with Formula One. That sorry, just quickly, I hope this has changed. I've just tweaked something on the settings. I have. Hopefully, I'm not coming through twice. If you go and look it up, with that goes through, and they have to make specialist tyres because there's such a big diameter. That's fine. So as the sidewall gets up, so there's more lateral movement as well. So the whole tyre can move from side to side, as we see first of the drivers in the GT4s going out and starting a flying lap, because 626 blue and white came in GT4. So that then makes a difference. Again, I'll go back to Top Fuel Dragsters, because they have some truly insane physics that they do some weird. They bend physics to the point of how are you doing that? So as the sidewall gets, but they have what's known as shaking the tires, which is when the tyre itself jumps and it sends a shockwave vertically through the tyre, and the whole car wobbles from side to side on its tyres. And when you're doing 0 to 60 in literally a handful of feet, that's very scary. A difference. Again, I'll go back to which is why you see a lot of high performance cars will have much lower side profile sidewalls of the tyres, because to some degree you don't want excess movement, but you need some to give you grip, which is when the tyre itself jumps, which is to some degree one of the issues they're having with going from the 15s to the 18-inch Formula One wheels. Which honestly just sounds like they've made somebody didn't quite get the calculations right with the amount of load that goes through the tyres. I'm not going to get into all of that because I will be here for hours as we see the GT4 times come through. With car 626 141 that has been very quickly eclipsed by Crepesi there with a 136.6. So somebody's got their car lit up and going nice and quickly. There, as we see these times come through, that's a very, very good time, although you're out in the wrong session. That's a GT Cup car, not a GT4 that's gone out. That would explain the time difference. So the two colours, we've got two colours tonight for the cars, which is the dark green cars, which is really nice and easy to see, next to the dark blue, is the dark green is the Cup cars, and the dark blue is the GT4s. So we shall see. And yeah, as we see, Caprese get disqualified there for going out in the wrong session. Well done, them. You're going to be starting from the back of the grid, if at all. That's a GT Cup car, not a GT4 that's gone out. That would explain the time difference. So the two colours, we've got two colours tonight for the cars, which is the dark green cars, which is really nice and easy to see. That's next to the dark blue. Is the yes, I had the YouTube on and I hadn't muted it. I hadn't heard it on my end. Where did OBS go? We will come back to this. Yeah. You're not coming through on any of that. Why are you not coming through? You turned up Max there. I can hear Mac fine, but why is this not coming through? Is this because I've tried skewing about with stuff this week and it hasn't worked?
If you go into advanced sound settings, you can actually specify where Discord's sound is going to.
Discord is turned up to max.
Yep, so see if it's not coming through OBS, see if you go into OBS and go down to set.
That looks like it's now working. I don't know what it's done.
Let me know if you can. Let
Please
me know
let
if
us know if you can hear Mac. There's been a whole conversation that has happened and it hasn't. You've only heard half of it. Wonderful. I hope this is
I love it. It's going to be a meme.
Oh dear.
It's a good job we can laugh.
It's going to be absolute. It's never one of us. We never get to stream and it doesn't go wrong somewhere in the line.
No, exactly. It's we will get on top of it, so we'll. So shameless. If you can hear me, Zeta's got an ultra-wide monitor, and OBS doesn't have the facilities to shrink from an ultra-wide definition down to 1920 by 1080 at the moment. So we're having to figure things out as we go along. So bear with us.
As we saw, I believe that was one of the BRT crew, because I believe they are. And you just ate. Well and truly, car 24, Mr. Loishitz. Oasis? What's your first name? Awesome. Sanjis? I don't know which one of your names is going to be less butchered, and I apologise entirely. Right, so there was GT4 that didn't go out and settled. Was that GT4? No, that's a cup car. I'm struggling to see the colour differences. I apologise for that one. As we see, Caprese now gone out, and is going to be setting times. There is obviously that 136 there to start with. Whilst these are just going through their first few laps and getting things up to temperature, we'll go through GT4 very quickly. First in the GT4s we have 777 Hannah with a 140.147. Ari Pastel in car number 7 with a 141.220. McKay in car 626 with a 141.440. That's a rather satisfying difference. Elias Fernando in car 233 with 141.932, and Shoulders in car 167 with 142.375, and Caesar never went out and set a time by the looks of things. I'm getting you mixed up with GT. If you're a top car, I apologise, you still haven't gone out. I would recommend doing that, but if you're not entirely comfortable, this is going to be an interesting one in the Porsches actually, especially with no traction control. They're going to want to switch ends really, really quickly.
And I would assume the rear tyres are going to be absolutely screaming by the end of the race as well. Although it's only 20 minutes, is it 20 minutes?
15-minute race. 15. So it's two 15-minute races. I don't think either of us have really commentated on these before.
We haven't. No, we haven't. So welcome. You're in for a treat tonight, chat. It's absolutely. I mean, this track is tyre eating monster. So it is just going from your first corner and the start finish, you're almost at full speed trying to get round that corner as fast as you can, getting in within the track limits, just as that Porsche's doing at the moment. But it's just destroys tyres, and that's with a car with traction control and ABS and everything else. So anyone who's doing this is absolutely crazy. I think
I'm not going to lie, we did consider coming and joining this GT4 fun in this one, but looking at the times, there is absolutely no way we are nearly quick enough to hang on with this lot. I think we might struggle to keep up with that. So yeah, as we see, we're currently following car 75, which is Mr. Samuel Braxton. We've seen it out in a number of series, so it's always good fun to see out in the Porsches as well. The lap times now are coming through for these cup cars, and they are falling quite quickly. We have 33.8 for Callum Jones in that rather fetching black, white and pink car. I do approve of a good bit of bright pink on a car. It's currently out, is up on time-ish. I say that as a whole bunch of it falls away. With a 133.8, and then it is Braxton with a 134.4. Tommaso, I'm assuming that is Thomas, is out there with a 134.772. There is not a lot in the top 4 that splits them. Certainly second down to 4th, those 3 cars. A couple of tenths is going to jump you quite a bit there. So it's very much all to play for in the middle of the pack there. They slip away a little bit as we get through to 5th with Dunkirk there with a 36.2 for Stevens, and 36.4 for Sarusa? I'm gonna hope that's vaguely right. As we see Mafati having a bit of a moment now, I didn't see what that was, as we're just coming into the last minute or so of qualifying, so anybody who is massively up... Oh! There's some people join? Not sure. What was that? No, that was Regatti going to the top of the timing sheet there with a 1:33.5. That is a big. That puts down a big marker there for everybody to try and keep up with.
We've got some very fast drivers. You've got Callum Jones, you've got Samuel Brackstad, you've got Don Kervolk, you've got our own George Stevens. These, and even Hannick and Ari Fastel, everybody is really fast drivers. I think this is going to be so interesting.
We were having a quick look before this all kicked off, and all the names you've mentioned in their respective classes have been up there the last 6 rounds. Obviously, it's effectively double points per race weekend. Thing is, it's kind of basically a Porsche Cup car style 15-minute short sprint race. As we see, times the last anybody that's out on a legal one at the moment will be on their last lap now as they cross the line. So we have Regatti here, who we're following at the moment, who's just coming around the last corner. Is currently down and not going to improve by oils for the pits. Thomas is the only one who's out and could improve, and I believe does improve time but doesn't improve position, putting them still in 5th but closes that gap down to 1:34. 1 minute 34.592. As the last of the cars. Oh, somebody. A couple of people still out. Oh, there is. There is a couple of people out. So we have. Sorry about that. They were down at the bottom of the timing sheets. They need to cross the line now for this one to count, as they haven't got a lap in at all. They are currently 2/10 up on their previous lap. Previous best. It hasn't unfortunately counted. So this one really does matter. No pressure. We're all watching.
Exactly, no, all the eyes are on you. It doesn't take much to end up with a track limit warning.
5:36. They go 1:36.
Wow!
On that one. So very well done there. Right at the death, manages to get in a 1:36.027. So tops the timing charts of those producing who's running at 1:36. We've got almost two races going on with the Cup cars. We've got those that are 33s, 34s, and we've got 36s before we hit the 140s for the GT4. So there's a nice gap there. In a 15-minute race, shouldn't have any, particularly with only, what have we got out there now? We've only got 16 cars out there, so 16 cars out there tonight, so blue flags and what have you in 15 minutes should not be a problem at all. Those that have been racing all the way through the series, and those that may be struggling at the moment for points, this is a really good pair of races to pick up a whole bunch of them, with the lack of drivers that we have on the grid tonight. So let's run you down the top. Can I split this up? No, I cannot split this up into categories. That's slightly annoying, but never mind. Sorry, I was just trying to see if I could split the classes. Aha, there is a class split. So, top 5 of the GT, the Cup cars. We have Regatti, followed by Jones, Brackstad, Daniel, and Thomas. And then the top 4 GT4s are Hannock, Fasttail, Marcy, Fernando, and Tony Shoulders. That's a rather interesting name. Are your top 5 for each class. As we are just waiting on the last little bit of time before they do their formation lap. Formation lap again with no tyre warm-ups. This is going to be a big one, because otherwise, if you're having to go into that first corner with tyres that aren't entirely up to temperature, yeah, that's going to be
a world of pain, I think is the best way
Yeah,
to describe it.
that's going to be slidey. The front's not going to want to turn in, and the back's going to want to keep turning.
And I'm assuming, I mean, I drove a Porsche for a little while, i.e. on SEC, but obviously the fuel tank's in the front, and as the fuel, you're only fueling to the very, very max that you actually need. But when the fuel level gets further down, your car starts understeering, and it's a different characteristic for that car.
For the short, because even the Caymans have their fuel tank in the front. The GT4s. I would go with. I've not really done a huge amount of work in the Porsches myself, but from what we understand with the geometry and the way the cars work, generally for this length of race, you're going to be running 20-25 litres. That's only going to move the front end maybe a mil.
Yep.
Aerodynamically, so it's not going to be, particularly with these low aero cars, it's not going to be a big deal. It's not like you're running it in the endurance rounds, like we see with the like the mini endurance, the 24 and 2.4 that we've got coming up, and the full length endurance races that we have also planned. You're not running a full 100 plus litres of fuel through the tank.
Yeah.
So the aero differences is when you do that can be 3 or 4 mil. And that makes a really big balance difference. And you kind of have to choose which end of the stint, at what point in the stint you want the car to work. It's either going to be a bit twitchy and a bit lively at the start of the stint and come good middle to end, or it's good at the beginning and middle of the stint as the fuel's higher, but can become very understeery towards the end of that. Now that obviously it's a trade-off between all of them, because it's going to load up each axle differently. The more front-heavy you go to try and account for the fact that it's going to be to try and keep the weight further forward on the front of the car, you're going to end up with, particularly on high fuel, you risk very much burning your front tyres up because there's too much load on them, they're being overloaded and overheated. But your issue you then have, if you take that weight towards the back of the car, you then struggle with the rears can burn up quite easily because of the weight that you've got hanging over the back of these cars with a was it 4 litre, 4.2 litre now? I think there's a 4 litre and the GT3 is a 4.2 litre flat 6 hanging over the arse end of these things.
Absolutely.
Incidentally,
the
4.2 capacity is what came out of GTE. Useless fact, there is 9mm of material between each of the bores.
Wow. 9mm.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, there it is basically as far as they can push that without having to physically make a bigger block.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Not really. What would you say was an average distance then? Would you...
It kind of depends on the age, but normally for most conventional road engines, you'll be looking at around 15 to 20.
Really? Jeez. So does that mean it's more light, that the actual engine itself is lighter because there's less material, or what's the advantage for it?
I will just see this car go through the first lap, and then I will explain this as we go green, and there's a whole lot of track limits going on at the second there. We have cars with drive-throus for evidently being out of position. As it looks like
Stevens been one.
Stevens and Caprese have both got drive-throus. I believe Caprese also for that mistake in qualifying, as we see Stevens there having a really bad day and going backwards down the field with the yellow flags. I am going to do a quick replay and see what happened there. Was there any contact or not? Space is given. Gets it lit up on the curb, runs back into the side of them. That was not going to go well, and then there's nothing you can do when you've got a string of cars like that coming up behind you at the first lap. That is always going to be back down into back of the grid and fighting with Driver as well. Yeah, this is not good for your day, that's for sure.
Absolutely not.
How else are we doing? Braxad is going forward. Is up into second, ahead of Jones. Rigetti is looking like they are going for a bit of a run to start with on this one. So they are keeping out of trouble, keeping out of the problems, and have made a bit of a gap there. Coming out to almost a second as we have more yellow flags, more cars going backwards. This is fun racing. This is actually like what Euro Cup GB. It's quite impressive. What happened to you? Oh, I didn't push this far enough back on that one. We only see them there. Yeah.
He's into the pits before select to getting to finish the drive-through that he got at the start of it as well.
That's going to put you back. That is drive-through for you two, and we see Fernando going side by side. Well and truly, there we go. Trying to make the move on McKay. They are going absolutely hell of a leather here, side by side through. I need to learn this track of it, but side by side all the way through there. Finally gets the move done and gets out in front, but very much in striking distance. These GT4s are very much momentum-based cars, and you really do have to try and brake as little. I know that sounds weird, brake as little as possible, but it really makes a difference in these cars. They are relatively heavy, very low aero, and very limited, as we see. Who was that? Shoulders in the back there, almost running to the back of both of these cars as they get a little bit checked up. There, as Braxstad is up into first. I didn't see that one happen. Let's go back and see what happened here.
Corner. An absolute, just a drive.
It looks like it happened before the corner. I didn't go back quite far enough. I do apologise for that one. I am desperately trying to keep up with all of this. This is there is a lot going on all of the time.
Absolutely. I mean, Caprese is still not. Is that a 10? Is that another penalty? That's a 10-second penalty.
10-second penalty. I believe that was for the error in qualifying. I will just pull up.
Right. Okay, that would make sense.
10 seconds. Car 5 going out in GT4 qualifying. Yes.
Yeah.
So that will be added to the end of the race.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, Samuel is a really good driver. As the top 5, top 6, even the top 10 are very, very quick drivers, and these are household names within the Toga family now. So they are. There's no way of creating a huge gap between these cars because they're so very equally matched. You can change setups, but it's a limited change in the setups that you can do. So it really is down to the driver in the car to try and maximise any gains that they can on this. But if you're in that toe of the car, it's your position's up for grabs basically. So Samuel really having to drive qualifying laps for the next 10 minutes. Man, I wish I could take that corner as well as they do.
I know, it's
such
impressive.
An awkward corner, trying to get a breaking point.
In all honesty, I genuinely think I struggle with this track so much that I think even in a GT3, I struggle to get down to these times that they're running in the Cup cars. I make no bones about it. We are mid-grid at best on with the rookies, but have an absolute whale of a time in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a love or hate track for a lot of people. As we see, 15 seconds for Syracusa.
Car 45.
45, yep.
I don't know if I could repeat what's been put in. It's 15 seconds for car 45 for murder on lap 1.
Alright, okay, that's...
I mean, it's the cleanest response we've seen from the stewards. That's for sure. Most of what comes out of their channels is very much not broadcastable.
Absolutely. This is so close.
It is. They are just nose to tail. And this is the thing is, it comes down to setup entirely as to how well set up and how comfortable you are with the car and the track as to whether how well you can do here. As we see, Braxton has got past, but just cannot get going. As we see, Callum Jones in third there has actually got the fastest lap of the race.
Wow.
With a 39.
Bradstad's lost P1 back into P2.
Sorry, a 33.9. I'm getting my numbers all mixed up there. With a 30. Regatti was 33.7, but wasn't legal. So, as Regatti's got back in front, I apologise.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. So, Braxtad's lost out somewhere, and he was actually falling into Callum Jones's radar very quickly there. So,
as we're just having a quick look back through the GT4s, McKay is still hanging on to the coattails of Elliott there in the GT4s. That gap just starting to string out a little bit with these cars, but doing very, very well, as Ari in the car number 7 has somewhat checked out in that one, with Hannock is even actually ahead of a GT, one of the Cup cars, that is ahead of car 55, who I think is one of the cars trying to make their way back through the field after issues. They go side by side into the hairpin. This is a deceptive. This one does not. There isn't a camera angle that I can find that gives this that particular bit of the track justice because of how much of a drop it is. You just see them. You cannot munch the curbs that much in GT3s around here.
No,
I think to some degree that's one of the reasons they're doing as well as they are with lap times is I think the GT2s for the same reason will do quite well here, because they will just be able to eat the curbs better, and I think that's why we see the lap times at certain other tracks with those cars being very, very similar, is they've got the ride height and they've got the compliance and the suspension just to keep, essentially take more of the corner distance out by running over more of the curbs. And it not upsetting the teammates, as that gap at the front is fairly stable. It's about half a second between all the top three of Regatti, Braxton and Jones. None of them can really make any major gains on each other. I say that as the gap comes down from Regatti. Braxton to Jones comes down to 0.3 of a second now, as they are coming into this last chicane. So who's got the toe on who? Just howling flat sixes.
This is very, very close. You can't take, and Regatti's taking back the fastest lap at the moment.
Yeah.
But Samuel Braxton is absolutely in the bumper of that, and Callum Jones as well. Any one of these three makes a mistake, and you can kiss your podium goodbye. Look at the Callum's fighting that car like mad.
They're all moving around. They're all really going for it. Whoa, that's a wiggle and a half. That's a big old wiggle. And the thing is, Mafetti, whilst is 3 seconds back, with only less than 5 minutes to go now, that time has just disappeared. I'm too used to doing the longer runs. That's disappeared. And it has any big mistake, and that is a podium gone. You have a spin, and that 3 seconds is gone.
And he's kind of having his own drive. He's really,
he's clean.
2
it's really
seconds,
smooth.
yeah.
So
and he's nobody in front of him, nobody behind him. He's just driving his own race.
Yeah, hit your marks and don't miss anything. Purple and blue is lovely.
It is absolutely. It's a great combination.
It is a wonderful colour scheme. So just being able to have that little bit of space and just hit your marks and just go for lap time.
Yep.
And then anything that comes to you, just take it with both hands, as we see coming into the last 3.5 minutes now. With the gaps at the start are just coming down. Macy is still hanging on to the coattails of Fernando there. I'm going to pronounce that name umpteen number of different ways, and I apologise for that one. But yeah, really, it's not really moving, but it is, again, it's close enough that you just know you can't make even a little mistake, because the car behind will just be on your rear bumper.
Yep, absolutely. And I have to apologise, because I only found out very recently, after 6 months, that Elias is actually pronounced Elias. Oh. And every commentator has learned it from me, so I can only apologise to poor Elias for calling him Elias for the past 6 months.
Oh.
It shows you how nice he is that he doesn't even tell me. It's someone else told me. So yeah, hats off. And we know Elias is a fast driver as well.
Fantastically quick.
And I mean, there's a different mindset going from a GT3 car into one of these cars. It's a totally different driving style, and
definitely. I think to some degree, I almost wish there was more GT4 racing, particularly for rookies.
Yeah,
because I think they are a fantastic chassis. I think GT4s and GT2s would be genuinely. I realise it's DLC to go and get, and completely understand if it's not viable for you, but I would. As Macy goes for a hell of a dive at the last second, does not make that stick, and we're never going to make that stick.
No,
I doff my hat for giving it a go, because you really don't have a lot of options.
No.
Did not see what that was. Jones has dropped back as we see yellow flags for Thomas there. What happened to you? Was this on your own, or was this somebody else? You're all on your own at the moment. It looks like you might have lit your tyres up somewhere then. Over the curve. Everything fine, everything fine. Everything is not fine.
No.
Everything is not fine. Get the car over the curbs. A little bit high. I think they must have got themselves a little bit high centered on that curb. And it just unloaded both rear tyres. And then at which point, Porsche's going to Porsche and the back end's going to turn itself into a pendulum. As this, to be fair, this does become very much a battle that has come about. Like I said, we didn't see it, but Callum Jones has dropped back. As we see Stevens just trying to jump back up through the field a little bit, going up another place. There. Callum Jones has dropped back from this battle with Brackstad. Brackstad has got right on the tail. This is the last lap of the race. So we'll jump to the leaders quick, and then we'll catch back up with everybody else that's going through. They are fully on each other's tail going through into... I really need to have learnt this circuit better. Normally I can do that's turn whatever, and I really can't.
Yeah, no, I'm like, that's turn 1, that's turn 2, that's turn 3. That's how I am. Unless it's something like Donington or Silverstone or Spa, but that is now the race clock finished.
So this is the run to the line for these two cars. As this is definitely not done. This is...
No.
As you can see, these cars are feisty. They have ABS, but they don't have any traction control. So you've gone out there with no traction control and freezing cold tyres. As we see Rigatti getting it very, very rough over the exit curbs there. As they come down into the last corner, can Braxton send it? Gives it a great go. Gives it an absolutely fantastic go there. Gives it absolutely everything on the brakes down into there. It comes up, doesn't quite manage it. What else do we have in terms of gaps? As this one is definitely not over as they come into the last corner. Doesn't quite make it happen, but does give it everything.
Wow, that was a close finish.
It was indeed. There was, as we see, You two have not finished. You are starting Donkor up there with yellow flags. I'm going to focus on this now with Elias. Because this is definitely a battle that's not over. Coming into this infield section now through the middle of the circuit. Steven's not far up the road, so he's managed to pull up a good chunk of places. Done alright.
Absolutely.
The Brazy's got themselves up into 10th, so he's managed to clear all of the GT4s. Steven's not done quite so well. That was a big run wide for Macy there.
Yeah.
That was Macy actually getting a drive through for track limits on that last.
No.
Oh, that's going to be turned into 30 seconds at the end of the race, because that's not going to. That has basically neutralised this whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, fair play for trying.
Absolutely. If you don't push and try, then you're never going to know either way.
No. Definitely, these short sprint races, you've got to give it everything you've got and hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Regatti for Verstappen Jones. And we saw as everything is moving around as everybody goes into the pits. Fantastic. I was going to try and make notes of all of that. I know that one has stayed the same. So the top three for each one, we had Regatti, Braxtad, and Jones in the Cup cars. The GT4s, we had Hannock from Fasttail, from Elias there. With a couple of the with a couple of the Cup cars getting caught up in the middle of that. I will at some point get a hang of calling these things GT Cup cars, not GT3s. So I'm just going to do that. So we'll have a few minutes of this as we get a quick 3-minute or so practice session. Before qualifying session 2 kicks off, just so that everybody can go grab a drink, have a pee, etc. Go and make themselves a little bit more comfortable before the next round of carnage arrives.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's about being able to reset your mind and forget about what happened in the last race, and then get into your new mindset of, okay, I'm into a new race now.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so indeed. As you can see, again, for those that are either looking to want to do some stuff with ACC, hasn't seen how this sort of thing works. This is genuinely what you see in when you're in the garage. If you do a return to garage, this is what you get. You'll be sat in whatever view you normally use for the cars, and you'll get. Up here you'll also have your setup, as we see a good old wheel spin there. I think that was for Stevens just leaving the pits. There, well done. I mean, get the tyres up to temperature somehow.
Exactly.
No, sorry, that was I can't remember the name. Thomas, that's the one. As going and doing a bit of rallycross as well. Probably not going to like the fact that we saw that on camera. But yeah, see, this is what you'll see. You'll have all of this stuff, so you can go through lap times, what everybody's been doing for all the races. You can see all the... Unfortunately, from my position, I can't go in as a spectator. I can't go in and see all the lap times. You can go in, there's a breakdown of lap times that you normally see in single-player mode as well. You can see where each other's quicker and what sectors and what have you. So yeah, it's generally a very... Most of the stuff this side of it, you'll see, will be very familiar to you. But you also get, obviously, the in-game chat here, which is... which you get, so you can... This will be in public lobbies, will be in private lobbies like we have here for this series. We have the rules within Toga and within a lot of the non-public servers, where during qualifying and during the race, don't generally use this. It's for stewards only, for informing the drivers whether there's any major issues and what have you. Otherwise, as you can see here, no use of in-game chat from this point on, or will result in a 5-second penalty. So that's all of that. I am literally just waffling to fill airspace and time at this point.
That's absolutely fine. Also, don't forget that Toga, we have a 4-tier system for memberships where you can donate.
Very much
Yeah.
so. Sorry, you carry on explaining. I hope you are coming through.
I'm sure if I am, I am. If I'm not, I'm talking to you, Zeta. So either way, it's not an issue. So we have a 4-tier system to support Toga, and you can do that through in Discord. You can click the link; it'll take you to select which one you actually want, and it starts from £1 a month. And any money that is made basically goes straight into the run costs of the servers. So none of the staff, none of the commentators, not even Hayden takes any money from anything, any of the income. It goes straight to running costs, and there's a lot of running costs for this, for the servers, etc. We are looking to grow, and certainly we're now being involved in the SRO, the communities racing, which was announced. If you're not following us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, we're on all social medias, Toga Motorsport. You'll see all the announcements that we're making, and also you're able to obviously join the Discord as well. We're not here to make money and put it into our pockets. We're here to try and give an even better experience to the community that we have, and this is down to stewarding, it's down to commentary, it's down to the running behind the scenes in the Discord, etc. And I do have to congratulate our Zeta for becoming a senior commentator within Toga. She is now one of the top commentators that we have, and I'm sure you'll agree that she does an amazing job. So a huge congratulations to Zeta. We also are looking for more stewards, commentators, so if you are interested, if you have a passion for it, within Discord there are applications for jobs that you can fill in, and you can have a chat with the respective people for that area. But absolutely, if you want to support, even by subscribing, by liking the stream, following on Twitch, you can also become a member on YouTube as well. You can also subscribe on Twitch, and all of that goes into it as well. We recently did a charity event, and we raised almost £3,000 for Cancer Research UK. So it's about giving back to community, giving back to causes that we feel very passionate about. So absolutely, it's hello, Dexter. So I'm assuming that you can hear me now.
Yes. Woohoo! Sounds like yes, Mac has. It is a return of the Mac.
The return of the Mac. The big Mac is back. Thank you very much, Dexter. I've missed you, buddy. So Dexter is the head steward as well, and he does an absolutely amazing job. So lots of love to Dexter and the stewards for tonight as well. So, but I can waffle for hours, so it's not actually an issue. But we are actually into the
we have the second round of GT4 qualifying. It's not too big of a deal. I think everybody is just starting their first flyers now. As we see, Macy is up on, I think, previous lap time, but was not a legal lap, so has not counted. No actual times have been posted as of this moment. As that shows, yes, you are a GT4. Yes, I am sorry, my eyesight is not great. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with the colour differences on it's fine on my screen, but I'm struggling with it on my big screen, but on my race control, the colours look very, very similar.
Yeah.
So as we see the first, Macy 626 there go in early with a 140.495, with Fast Tail going faster again, the 140.180. As we will see the next few lap times come through. It's another track. I mean, again, just to plug the community, Ari is Fastail is our kind of in-house-ish livery guru. has
I
commissions
would say so.
and bits pieces open every now and again for work, as we see absolutely fantastic gold and black dragon on the side of that car. So that's the kind of work that can put out. So again, another bonus of people like that within our community can do some genuinely beautiful work. I mean, it's not even, I'm just looking at that a bit closer, it's not even all, it's dark blue and light blue, it's not black, the detail is fantastic. So yeah, I'm not half bad in the car either.
And recently upgraded, so went to I can't even remember. Is it a place that he went to? He's upgraded. He's went on to now a direct drive as well,
Nice.
which is amazing. So yeah, I mean, Ari is such a good driver, very attentive to details as well, as you would expect for someone that does graphical design and things like that. So we also do have coaching as well, which our very own Owen provides. So if you're looking for, it's free, So if you
sorry to jump in there, as we see
on you
go 39.3. So that is a big jump up, 7/10 on Fastel there. For who has managed to put a 40.005 down as their fastest lap. As we see the top cars now starting to queue up at the end of the pit lane. Anybody else out there? We have Elias is out and is currently 2/10 up, as is I have got the Curse of the Commentator tonight. I can go and look across and look at somebody's time and it just drops. Fastel was out, was a couple of tenths up and is now struggling to keep it inside the 10th, so I apologise for looking across at you. Whereas Elias is now almost half a second up, coming through the first of the infield sort of sections, out to the far top edge of the circuit. It's long, very, very fast. I will say this little bit here does remind us a lot of the back stretch at Misano, where you got those two flat out right-handers into that significantly tighter right-hander at the top of at the end of the straight section, the back stretch there, before you go into the final sector, as you go into the last sector on that circuit. That time of Hannix is going to take some beating, although Elias is looking potentially like he can go into at least jump a spot, possibly jump into second. Almost a second up as they come down the pit lane, as they pit straight here now, and managed to jump them up a place into third there with a 140.155. Managed to get that with a few seconds to spare, so can potentially put another lap in, as we see the GT, the Cup cars now all going out. Elias has just decided to park that one and call that day done there. They could have probably gone out. I believe they would have still been able to go out and finish that lap, because they started it before the 7.5 minute mark, but obviously didn't feel they were ahead on time. Again, we have another GT4 that hasn't set a lap time, as you have parked it on the way out of the pit lane. Wonderful.
First to last challenge, maybe? Or last to first, sorry.
Maybe? I mean, fair play if you can do it, especially in essentially one-make racing.
15 minutes.
15 minutes in one-make racing.
Oh, yeah, that would maybe be a struggle, but it's great to see, this is round 4, as Zeta said earlier on. This is now race 8 in total that we're seeing, and we're still seeing loads of people coming here every week to watch it and to drive in it. It's just a great competition overall as well. We have loads of competitions, loads of races, loads of events one-offs, championships, endurance,
Indeed.
etc. So please look at SimGrid. We are number 2 on SimGrid out of everybody. So please go and give us a look.
Indeed, do come have a look, come have a go. And we can go from there as we see Braxton's out on I believe they've just started their first flyer. They are still green, they have not gone red, so they will be, it should be a legal lap. Barring no issues there. Come out to, come around this long, the corners here are all very long for what they are. Again, it's another of the bits that kind of reminds you, whilst it works and does drive pretty well for GT cars, it's another reminder again that the track is a little bit more of a motorcycle track. Yeah. In just the length of some of the corners as well.
And that makes sense. The more you say that, the more I'm like, yeah, that makes absolute sense. And don't forget, obviously, it's named after not MotoGP, but it was a MotoGP?
Circuit de Tomado Valencia. My Spanish is awful. Yeah. I've never studied Spanish, so I apologise. That's probably completely butchered. But they also have, I think it's on the side of the pit buildings, is it? I don't know if we'll see it here on camera, but I think it's Rossi on the side of the pit building.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Zeta. Thank you. Thankfully, Zeta is my carer for this evening, so keeps me right about all the things that's going on. So it's great to see. I'd say I love the track. It's just a personal preference, but I love Misano as well, and a lot of people don't like Misano, so it really is, just depends on your driving style. I think my driving style is kind of rookie more than anything. I don't have a style as such, but it's great to see. Oh, and look at that, it's straight into P1. So
P1, 133.5. And wow. We see Maffetti is currently up. Thomas is up by 0.6.
Do you think? I think we're going to see the same top 3
for the next race. That was, I mean, fair play for trying to catch it. You were absolutely hammering it. That is totally my fault as per the commentator. I saw you were well up on time, and then let's see this lap to the end because it should be a good one. And then you go and park it. Wonderful. I do wholly apologise about that one.
See, I have passed the whole commentary curse onto poor Zeta now, so and before people were begging me not to watch them and not to click onto them at any point, and so I'm obviously doing something right in the commentary team. Oh yeah, I'm just watching a replay of that. That was, as you say, Zeta almost held it. Yeah. You know, when that Porsche lets go, there's just...
There's not a lot of warning, as we are seeing, so I really apologise. I'm genuinely struggling with your name. I am so sorry. Sarosa, I think it is? Go through, and you are almost a second up, so you cement your position there in 6th with a 135.2 there. So anybody else moving up? Callum Jones hasn't actually managed to set a time now, but he is up 0.6 up on previous time as big slide, bit of a slide coming through there. Well and truly. And again, it's just a reminder as to how lively these cars are. Like I said, they are very much a driver's car. No traction control. They do have ABS, but like I said, no traction control. No real. Even the traction control, the ABS is interesting. So it's not nearly as aggressive as good as the GT3s, and I would say even the GT2s. I've not spent a huge amount of time in the car, but I would say it's a much coarser setup. Probably akin to that of GT2s. It's not something that you turn up because it tends to extend your braking distance because it pulls the brakes off.
Yep.
As Jones, there we go, goes second with a 1:33.1.
Wow.
Rigatti has taken the lead overall with a 1:32.7. 1:33.1 as we just saw for Jones. Moffetti 1:33.2. And then Braxton with that 1:33.5, although is half a second, or 6 tenths up on 7 tenths, almost 7 tenths up now on this next lap as we drop back down into the middle of the circuit to come up and out through this hairpin in the middle of the track. Running that curb. A lot of these drivers are opting to really chew that sausage curb up and just let the car bounce around on its suspension as he comes down now into last corner, spins that flat six up, and goes 8 tenths faster. So that's a 32.6.
My goodness, Samuel,
32.6 right at the death there.
That had to be pin perfect in every way, shape, and form.
Indeed. So top. As we just hear the last of these cars come through, I don't think there's anybody. Nobody is going to be up on time, I believe, from here. So there we go. They've all parked it and head for pits. Nobody's going to improve now. Let's do that as we wait for the race to start. We'll switch over for the race. And we shall run you through the top 5 of each class then, as this all shuffles over. We have Samuel Braxton with that 1:32.6 that managed to put in right at the death. Rigatti in second with a 1:32.795. Jones with a 1:33.135. Moffetti with a 1:33.27. Now I've lost all of that. That was helpful. Thank you very much for that. I was just going through that. 1:32.7 for Moffetti there. I didn't get a chance to see what that was. So just running down the list now was so we have Braxton, Rigatti, Moffetti. I'm drive there. So have all of that.
So I shouldn't laugh because I butcher as many names as I've actually got correct.
I really do apologise. Phil, we do have a channel within Discord for bits of information about drivers. I need to go back through it and have a look, especially as we've got some longer races coming up. So it'd be nice to go through some of those with people.
We are also creating, or Hayden has created, I don't know why I said we, what we'll call a cheat sheet, which is very easy to say and say very wrongly, where we can pull drivers' stats and down to where it's, per track or per car or per Toga.
The man is a genius. Don't know how.
Yes, absolutely. The stats we can drill down to are ludicrous. We could highlight Samuel, say for instance, and go to this track, and we can tell every invalidated lap he's ever driven within a Toga racing, or sorry, in SimGrid. We can tell how many times he's spun over, what his fastest ever lap time was on any championship within SimGrid. It is just amazing. So we will be bringing that out as well. And as Zita says, for endurance, for the 24 and 2.4, we'll have more time to spend. But this is a 15-minute sprint race. As you saw in the first race, we don't have even time to start talking about incidents that happened because there's other incidents going on. So it is definitely something that we have got, and we'll be utilising more often once we get things settled down.
Indeed. 10 seconds, sorry, I'm just having a quick look. Oh, Caprese is not having a fun time. Already starting this race with another 10-second penalty for race 1, lap 9, with car 777 causing a collision. You are not having a fun time. As the cars roll out for a formation lap. I really need to get stuff sorted out, because whenever I try and log into the Toga website, it doesn't work all that well, but that's probably a me issue than anything else.
I blame Hayden.
Oh.
Let's blame Hayden.
If all else fails, blame the boss.
Exactly.
So, yeah, they're all rolling out on their formation lap. Really important with these cars. No tyre warmers. 1 lap. I mean, at least it's a long lap here. It's not like we're doing this at, for instance, Brands Indy. If that existed in the game, that would be a horrific one to try and get a car warmed up for.
Oh my goodness! Could you imagine?
So for those that aren't necessarily UK based and don't know what we're talking about, but have seen the Brands Hatch, so where you go up the hill and into the woods, yeah, go left. Sorry, you go left up into the hill. No, you immediately go right at the corner, and that takes you back round onto the pit straight, pretty much. It's really short. It's a seriously short lap there, so yeah, definitely go look up some of the racing. It's amazing. British touring cars use it, and seeing those things go door banging, quite honestly, it's pretty much a bar brawl with some motor racing breaks out in the middle of it.
I grew up with BTCC, and honestly, I still love it to today. How would you compare it? Would you compare it to GT4?
I mean, the Cup cars are probably the closest thing that we get, because the Carrera Cup GB is the one of the series that run alongside it.
Yep.
It's one of the support races for that series. Those in the UK, keep an eye out for when it starts, because the series starts. ITV4 has the whole day's coverage.
Yeah, it's amazing that it's still on television.
It's on terrestrial television, free to air, free view. Obviously it's commercial TV, so you got ads and what have you, but it's well worth a watch. Like I say, you get the minis, you get Carrera Cup GB, you get the touring cars. Like I say, the touring cars, the only way I can describe it is the bar brawl that breaks out and some motor racing breaks out. It's just door banging pretty much the entire time.
Absolutely. And we're green. We are racing. Oh, very, very close. Look at this. Samuel's still just out there, but
super close. Really good start. Braxtad's hanging on to that this time round. Is that Braxtad? Yes, Braxtad is hanging on to that in the lead this time round, but Regatti there, I think, may have a slightly better race setup. I'm not going to really change much apart from a little bit of fuel load between quali and race. But there is that little bit to be said for having, however you set your cars up, they're not going to be a lot, if any, different. As everyone has a bit of a funny 5 minutes. Apologies for what the time screen is doing. Braxton runs a little bit wide. Regatti just tries to get the nose in underneath. Doesn't quite manage it.
Car 45's got a 10-second penalty at the very start.
Car 95. Yes, that was the one that causing the collision in lap 9 of the previous race.
Oh, right. Oh, and he's going for it.
Going for it. That was almost unexpected. Braxton could easily lose 2 places here, but no, not quite as Jones drops in behind. Oh, that was a move and a half. That was almost unexpected on both drivers.
Yeah,
like stuck the nose in, didn't expect it to stick, and
he's back,
coming back throughout the inside there, but Regatti's got the drive on the exit, but not quite got the
drive.
Oh, if it hadn't lost the tail slightly, that would have stuck. It just files back into line there.
Callum Jones must just be going, please, just collect each other, and I'll just drive past you.
Oh no, that's also, given how close Jones is, that could very easily take all three of them out in one go. If Braxton goes, that could so easily be all three of them out.
Yep. And you can see Samuel's kind of sticking to the middle of the track. He is trying to be defensive without
it's
compromising
really tough
the
when you
entire
just
racing line.
Yeah, just you start compromising your line, and that gap just disappears.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you try to follow. You want to try and look forward and just hit your marks, but
absolutely.
You've got a car behind you, and you can't. You're looking back as much as you are looking forward to see that gap come right back down.
Oh, Jones!
Jones is sticking the nose in there as well. Apologies, we're focusing on this lead for the battle. There is, like, the gaps all through the field are really, really tight. It's just this is where we've got stuck to. As Jones, I'm going to jump to Jones because they were side by side coming out that last corner.
And look how much Samuel's able just to drive off while these two are fighting.
Yeah, as soon as you start fighting, Jones just make a mistake there over the curb, and that drops them back. So that's opened this gap back up. As we see Thomas get ahead there. I didn't see entirely what happened there. Caesar I hope that's right. I'm going to go with it. Is running close. We have McKay and Elias there running nose to tail, with Ari in the back, bringing up his head. This trio of cars here. They're running a very nice, neat 2/10 as they came across the line there, apart. Now you see, this is to some degree a little bit of where one-mate racing gets interesting. Because if you can get in the tow of the car in front of you, but the car behind you gets in the tow of you, the car at the back gets an absolutely massive slingshot.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing. So we watched, and I noticed this, round about after the long sweeping right-hander, you've got the very off-centred left-hander. The top three were taking it in different lines. All three of them were different. So it just shows you.
As McKay goes for one there, and Elias, that was beautiful. McKay sent it up the inside, but Elias just had the momentum, and McKay couldn't get the car stopped on the exit, on the apex enough to stop Elias coming back underneath on the exit and gets back out in front. Absolutely fantastic, incredibly professional driving from all of these drivers.
They really are. The fact they can battle so closely and not take each other out, it just shows the level of driver ability and skill.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. As we see, Ari has just dropped a little bit off the back of this one. As we'll jump to this one, as we see Pizzarella going almost side by side with Caprese. Caprese's having a significantly better race this time round than last time. Admittedly, that wouldn't be hard. Looks like... I stopped looking at that and McKay gets past. Now the question is Elias is going for it but could easily lose a second place. Similarly, McKay can go backwards. Harry's going for it, running it around the outside. Can he hold on to this? Not quite.
Oh my goodness!
That's close.
Three cars can't occupy the same space. I'm sorry, physics doesn't allow it.
No, physics doesn't quite allow that. Sorry, we get as excited as the rest of you when this all happens.
It is so exciting though. You're absolutely
McKay absolutely sends it. Still, just can't get the car stopped.
He's going to lose it. He's going to lose.
Had the slightly later apex has meant they were a bit wider on the exit and could get on the power a bit earlier. As Fast Tail gets a bit sideways on the exit there as McKay ramps over the car. I keep expecting one of these cars to end up the wrong way.
I think Ari is also carrying a cold or something. He's not feeling very well, so to still be racing and not feeling well is a huge challenge.
Indeed. Yes. I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, you're only sat in front of your computer and what have you. This, if you, even just with a basic gear or belt-driven wheel, it's, as we see, oh, what happened to you? As we've got, oh no, Elias drops it as well, as all the yellow flags all at once. I don't know where to look, I don't know which one to do. What happened to Elias here? Because we were following that one quite heavily. In this league group. Okay, comes in, goes for a move. Oh, just not quite. Just tips the almost alongside. Yeah, not quite as that one works out. And unfortunately, Elias is the unfortunate party as Jones gets past Brackstad coming across the line. Regatti. Brackstad has kind of run away a little bit to this battle, as these two have been fighting. As Jones has now got well past, but can Regatti get back against them? Whew. I'm glad this is only a 15-minute race.
Take a breath.
Stevens running side by side. Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on. Stevens gets past on the brakes and manages to make that one stick beautifully on Pizzarella there. That looks reasonably good as Hannock is having a go at Sarosa there as, oh, yellows. What on earth happened to you two? I see yellows for both of you. You're doing so well. I'm not sure what's happened, but you're a long way back, which is never a good sign. Makes up a bunch of time there. Nice and clean. Oh, big send. Really big send down into that tight right-hander. Just a slight touch, but does end up causing an issue there for both of them. So that has, Stevens has, by the looks of things, has parked it and bailed. That's a shame. As Sarosa there is going up. That battle with McKay and Fasthow is not over. By the looks of things, I do apologise about having hiccups. I'm sorry about any of the random noises that go out. Some of them are not entirely intentional. Elias there actually is fighting to come back through the grid. This has become a bit of a last to first challenge, but is battling away with Tony there in the red, white and black board. Can Elias do anything into the first corner? Has got a fantastic slipstream coming down the pit straight, but he's on that title line. Oh, that is beautifully done. That is such a fast corner to go too wide. As Tony goes up the inside on the brakes. As Elias gets the drive on the exit, and it looks like he's managed to make that one stick now. As just drives away there. As Pizzarella goes back past Sarosa there. Those two are thoroughly battling it away. Brackstad is out for about 2 seconds now on that lead fight, but the Regatti-Jones battle is still going on with about 0.4 of a second, as Ari is right on the tail of McKay here still, and really causing some hassle. To some degree we can see the cars that are a little bit more trimmed out with aero-wise these cars. Not that they don't have much, that was because we do see that is Ari will close up through the middle of this, the middle section of this, middle twistier section of the track, but drop back a little bit down the straights. So I think possibly running a little bit more wing than McKay is. I will say the smaller grid's quite nice because I'm not having to scroll up and down to keep an eye on the gaps. It's very easy when you've got a long grid just to miss the odd gap, like the stuff that's going on. As we see, Lucius, by the looks of things, having a bit of their own running wide moment there. As this battle is very much still going on, as we see. Okay, we have some penalties coming through. The one before the race, so 10 seconds car 55, collision with car 45 on lap 5, that's all the 5. 10 second penalty car 55, causing a collision with car 100 on lap 6.
Oops, someone's not having a good day.
No,
I can't even
as
see.
Jones and Regatti are very much back on terms with each other. Just flick across just to see the timings go as to 1-1, as Jones is now back ahead of Regatti. Ari is still battling with McKay, and Elias hasn't really dropped Tony. Tony is still only a couple of tenths back from Elias there, as McKay makes a big mistake. I didn't see what happened there. Yeah. It looked like Ari backed out of that one, so that may have been in contact, but opted to just let them back ahead.
Yep.
And let's just quick replay on what happened there as we are into the last... Not a lot of this race. Last minute or so of this race. So, gets a bit of a wiggle on there. Ari gets a bit of a drive, but not a huge amount. Sends it on the brakes. Yeah, sends it on the brakes, but lets, again, incredible, polite, sensible driving standards, not just driving off into next week after making contact like that. Lets them back through. As we get the message to say the leader has started their final lap. They are out to the tune of 3 seconds. That is how much battling in a one-make race makes that difference. As McKay is... These two are not... This is not going to end. I'm just going to follow this probably to the end, unless anybody gets closer than point 2. I don't know which one to follow now, because both the Regatti-Jones battle and this McKay Fasttail battle are both about as close as each other, and I don't know which one to follow. Apologies, Mac, with everything, hasn't actually managed to get computer sorted out this week, so it is basically watching my feed through Discord. So it doesn't have any of that, as McKay makes a bit of a mistake and Harry gets through there, and nice and cleanly on the mistake there from McKay. That is, time is up. That was a big wiggle from Harry there, still really pushing. That's given McKay the drive down into his next corner. Ari's not going to be as quick. Can they get the drive back? Beautifully done.
Move.
Absolutely wonderful. As this will be them starting this battle starting their last lap of the race. Wonderfully done. Goaded McKay into a bit of a late lunge, late braking move, knowing that they were going to still have the advantage because they didn't have the speed going into that. As Braxton has now finished, that gap was nothing but the line from Jones and Regatti. There was about a tenth between them at the end there. I'm going to just jump back to this battle between Ari and McKay. I apologise for not concentrating on the cars further up. There's just been so much going on. I'm sorry.
There is. It's difficult to choose which ones to watch and which ones not to watch. At the end of the day, it's always so difficult, but you're doing an amazing job. So these time penalties will be added on at the end.
Yep.
So it looks like most of the bottom half will actually get promoted up one from this, or certainly a few will. But and Ari going very wide, but that actually looked like it worked for him.
It did, to some degree, getting to The only way I can describe it is running a bit of a karting line with some of these cars and some of these corners. So you run deep and run wide, so you can get on you straighten up the exit as early as possible, so you can get on the gas nice and quickly. And that will, that can sometimes work. But I think just generally knowing the car and what's going on, as we see the two of them, ended not quite as excitingly as expected, but
or as hoped.
whew,
Well,
we
take
can
a
breathe.
breather. Wow, that was two fantastic races. And I have to say, well done to everybody, regardless of the finishing position, because, that
was fantastic. As it looks
that
like
was good.
Stevens, I believe, parked it, and Donkewalt, I think, had some issues. Doesn't appear to be connected anymore as well. So both of those drivers, unfortunately, having a bit of a rough time and backing out of that one.
Which is, it's a shame, and I know George is a good driver. He drives a Porsche in the GT3 class as well, so it's not like he's
an
not a
unknown
good driver.
quantity to him.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So yes, that after all of that was the Porsche Sprint Cup. Very much is a sprint.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like a sprint as a commentator as well, I have to say.
Oh, it very much did. As that server has now reset. Come on, OBS. Load. There we go. Noises. Apologies if any of that noise came across on back. Yeah, that will be the end of that one. That's disappeared. That has literally just disappeared in a blur of genuinely fantastic racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope everyone's enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been really, really good racing. Congratulations, obviously, Samuel, for the win in the second race as well. Just absolutely top-notch driving from everybody.
For sure. Very well done to all. I believe it was... I'm trying to remember who it was. So much happened. I should have written this down at the end of the last race as to who won what. But yeah, really well done to all the drivers. Exceptionally well done for those that finished on the podium in both classes. And yeah, that is another week of sprint racing done.
It is. I can't even remember how many are left of it.
I believe
in total.
I can. If I fire up. Did I have similar to open anywhere? Yes, I did. We have
a lot of racing. I think it's going to generate a lot of close battles as well. The rookies season has been one of the most popular seasons we've had all the way through Toga, as far as I've been part of the Toga community, and it's just been absolutely amazing. The people like David Amandalese, we've got Peter Romeo, they all came through the rookies, and they are now, I mean, they're very, very fast drivers, and they are now competing in esports, they're competing in different championships, and it's just amazing to see people, the growth that happens from the first day they come in to where they are now. It's just absolutely amazing. So it is. None of it. Ah, yeah, yeah. I couldn't hear you either. Yeah, absolutely. We also have Samuel in the waiting room, who is Tiddly Osprey. Yes.
Hey. Oh shit. Yeah. I had a little bit of struggle in first qualifying. I was trying to get the setup right. It seemed to get better out of through the race.
You were very, very competitive all the way through. I mean, both races. Um, Obviously, I mean, you race in different categories and different cars, but how do you feel racing a Porsche? Do you have to change the way you drive when you jump into that Porsche?
It's really different. I mainly
Yeah.
drive the GT3 Porsche.
Ah,
That's completely different from the Porsche Cup.
right, okay. No, sorry, you go.
Yeah, the Porsche Cup is made for you can drift it through the corners, and it has really less bad grip in general. But the
Yeah.
GT3 one, that's it's seeking grip all the time. Like once you drift or something like that, then it's really slow.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you need to be a lot more sensitive from the throttle when you do jump into, the Porsche Cup, the GT4s, because of the lack of traction control and just the way the car is in general?
Yeah, I mean, I usually run higher gears out of the corners.
Right,
Get more traction.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, because I'm not that good on the throttle control. To see that when I was behind Rigetti, that he's running yeah. Seems like Rigetti is really good on the exit of the corners. Because he gained 2/10 of the exits.
Is We also saw a lot of people struggling with oversteer on power and things like that. Is the Porsche Cup car is it unsavable if it goes into if it kicks into the oversteer? Whereas a GT3 car, you might be able to catch it and straighten it up. Is it just more twitchy, or if you lose the back end, that's it? It's almost pretty much gone.
Actually, it's pretty easy to catch the Porsche Cup.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I haven't driven it, so I have no idea. That's why I'm asking all these really. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some issues. Oh dear, we've had some issues tonight. Are you looking forward to next? I don't have access just now to know what the next races are going to be. But are you looking forward to the next two races?
I have no clue what the next race is, but I think
Okay,
the
that
last one
makes
is Brands. So I'm not
yeah.
looking
Oh,
forward to that one.
brands. Oh, brands, bumpy track with curbs that are quite unstable at times. It's going to be really interesting to see. Was that track a favourite one of yours tonight, or is it just something you just learned, or you don't like at all?
Valencia, I mean,
Yeah.
I seem to get a really good setup, like stable.
Uh-huh.
It had a good flow through the corners. So I have to say I really liked driving around there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you can get the car set up and you've got confidence underneath you for it, then it can make such a difference. But it's not always easy, especially the first corner. You've got the track limits. It's almost like a very fine line where you can push the car so much. And Zita was explaining this earlier on about it's more about momentum than anything else. So you're trying not to brake too much and lose all that momentum. We've seen that tonight. You handled the pressure really well, Samuel, in both the races, and you did really well. So congrats, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem. Take care, Samuel.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Boom. There we go. I don't know if poor Zita's mic's gone or...
I do apologise about that. I have bits of software left, right and centre trying to work, and my mic decided it was... The noise cancelling software that I've got running in the background decided it was going to stop working. So my mic didn't come through, and I don't know how long it had not been coming through, and I do apologise.
It's okay. I've got you back.
Wonderful.
Right. So I'm just going to say thank you so much to everyone tonight for watching, for commenting, and hopefully enjoying. And I'm going to leave it with Zita for the final words.
Indeed. Thank you for everybody for watching. I wholly apologise about all of the issues. I've been playing around with my setup quite a bit to make all this work, just to try and get some better sound quality, and it's all slightly gone wrong today, so I apologise for all of that. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and I hope we get to see a good chunk of you all of... Ches, what have I missed? Absolutely fantastic racing. Go back and watch this once the stream ends. It's well worth it. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see you all again on Sunday evening for the Driver Swap Cup. So we will see you then. From myself, from Matt, and the whole team here at Toga, and especially a big thank you to the stewards for tonight. Very lovely to catch you all again. We'll see you again on Sunday. Have a lovely rest of the week, and good night.
Good night.